Well, the United Steelworkers Union is going after China, saying it's hurting American business, specifically U.S. tire makers. The union has filed a petition calling for the federal government to cut the nearly 46 million consumer tires that are imported from China in half. Now, union leaders say that since 2004, 7,000 U.S. tire workers have lost their jobs due to plant closures. Gererd is the president of the United Steelworkers International and joins me right now with this story. Good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good to see you too. Thanks for being on.
So explain to me what precisely is the issue here and why is China at fault?
Well, the issue is a surge in imports that China's been responsible for over the last few years. And in fact, China's imports have gone up almost 300% in the last few years. That surge in imports has depressed both prices and employment in manufacturing in the tire industry in the United States, depressed the tire market by almost 25%. And we're bringing the complaint under a specific section of the Trade Act that China agreed to when it entered the WTO and entered into what was then called Preferred Nation, PNTR. So we're bringing a specific action against China for its actions in flooding our market with tires over the last few years and depressing it.
So what would you like the U.S. government to do?
Well, I think on this issue, we want the International Trade Commission to hold hearings and to find China guilty of an import surge that deliberately damaged our market, depressed prices, and threw 7,000 of our members out of work over the last 3 or 4 years. You know, the reality is that America can't continue to be the dumping ground for the world's products, especially from China. We're handling, part of the reason we're in this economic mess we're in, we're trying to handle a $6.5 trillion accumulated trade debt. And as your reports kept saying this morning, the American manufacturing industry is getting slowly squeezed to death, and now we're in a free fall.
So there will be plenty of people, though, who will listen to this and say, not sure you can blame China on the loss of those 7,000 jobs specifically. I mean, somebody had to purchase those tires in order for them to make their way from China over to the United States. So how much is the culpability of an industry, unfortunately, that has been deteriorating for decades?
Well, first of all, that's not true. The fact of the matter is that lots of America's manufacturing industry, and in particular the tire industry, the steel industry, the aluminum industry, lots of our manufacturing sector is state-of-the-art, creating the best products in the world. We can't compete against countries that manipulate their currency, repress their workers, don't enforce environmental standards, and pay people upwards of 50 cents an hour. The fact is that China uses that unfair advantage to dump their stuff into our market and depress our prices. That's the reality of what's going on. It's going on right now in pipe and it's going on right now in pipe and tube, and those tires are brought in at the bottom end of the market and distributed by places like Walmart and Pep Boys and others.
Okay, I wasn't speaking about the entire manufacturing base as a whole. What I was saying to you is you can admit here, please, I hope, that the auto industry is suffering from a heart attack at the moment, and it has been building up now for years. I just wonder whether or not the country that is also helping finance a large portion of our debt should be the only person blamed for loss of jobs, or whether or not it's a fact that we've just had too much supply and not enough demand.
Well, we certainly don't have too much supply and not enough demand in the manufacturing sector. What we have, and you want me to, I'll deal with the auto industry. The auto industry is getting hammered right now, and I agree to that. But it's also getting hammered because of the economic collapse where people can't afford to buy a car. France, Italy, Germany, Great Britain, Japan, China, they've all put programs in place over the last several months to increase demand for the sale of automobiles. In America, we've sat back, and what we've done is tell them to shrink themselves into profitability. That's going to cost millions of jobs in America. But on the tire industry, and the fact is that China has manipulated its currency. It has not enforced its environmental standards. It represses its workers' rights. It's a mercantilist economy. It gives its manufacturers underpriced money, and then it dumps that into our market. And we in fact, yeah, they're subsidizing us, but they're subsidizing us because we've let them destroy our manufacturing base. And we're going to make a case out of this with 421 on China.
All right.
We've already won 5 cases on welded tube where they're not following the rules. All we want is for the countries that we're going to trade with to play by the same rules we're asked to play with.
All right. Well, Leo Gererd, very strong point of view. We will follow up with you on that. Thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you for the opportunity. Much appreciated.